So good morning and welcome to your self-realization. We'll do our gratitude. Mother, Father, God, we give gratitude and thank yous for this day. We ask for your infinite light of protection to be with us and throughout wherever we are, so that only the highest and best will occur through our thoughts, words, and our actions. We give thanks for this day. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you.
Amen.
Reverend Marcia isn't able to be with us today. She's left us a message. Yeah,
She's sick?
not sure. She's recovering from kind of surgery, so I wasn't aware.
Oh,
So I wasn't aware. Yeah. So she just left us the message, and anyway, we'll give her send off some healing to her. So being that we were up in the top part of the head there, David, do you want to talk about that part? I mean, I know we have a lot of, even our 12 powers in that section of the mind there, the head. There's a lot of stuff there.
there is. And I would like a clarification between the pineal and the pituitary.
What
Oh, okay.
clarification?
Can you hear him okay? Because I was trying to get the speaker.
No, I can, yeah, I have my earpieces in, so I just turn off the volume.
Oh, good.
What clarification do you need?
Well, some people say the pituitary is the connection to the divine, and some people say the pineal is the connection to the divine, and the pituitary is a secondary functioning organ, I guess is the way to say it.
We're going to let you all know something. There is no secondary. It's all directly to the divine. It's just like having two highways going to divine.
Oh, okay.
The pituitary gland is imagination. The pineal gland is knowing.
Oh, there you go. Now that's what I needed to hear. So the pineal gland is knowing,
Right.
and the pituitary is in.
Some people call it faith. I've changed faith into knowing. When I was trying to figure out faith when I was in my beginning stages of development, Dr. Beck gave me, David, when you put corn in the ground, what happens? I said, well, corn comes from it. I said, how do you do that? I said, well, I just know it. I said, that's faith. That is knowing and everything. And so we learn things, and but a step further, then we know it. When you know it, you don't question it anymore. And the only knowing you need to know with popcorn is know what you're gonna. If it's going to be popcorn or field corn or sweet corn, that's important to know too. When you plant a seed, you need to know what it's going to do. And sometimes when you plant corn, if you plant field corn and you think you're going to get popcorn, you're going to get field corn. So that's also with your thoughts. You need to be very particular on what your thoughts are.
Mm-hmm.
And the pituitary gland, what I found with healing and everything like this, it takes pictures of your body the very first 24 hours of your life, of every organ, muscle, and nerve, how it is. And so usually at the beginning of your life, that's the healthiest you're going to be. And so when people have something with the part of their body that's not working well, I have them go to and get a picture of that organ or that part of the body that's healthy. And I have them look at it every day, because the pituitary is still taking pictures. And when you look at it, it pictures what that organ is, and then it forms that into your life. And I learned from experience and everything like this. When I had that person come in and say she has an incurable disease, I said, well, we're not gonna talk about that no more. I want you to go, this was before we had computers. I told her to go to the library and get a picture of that healthy organ and look at it each day. She did that, and then eventually she come back to me and said, I don't have that incurable disease anymore. And you know what that doctor made her do? For 2 years, come every 6 months, come make sure she didn't have it again. So I know this thing works, you know, I think, and I've been using that experience from that time on, and everything. So the pituitary is imagination, that's your imagination. And I think it's important to remember is that when you look at something, that pituitary gland is still taking pictures. And when you're in a situation that's unpleasant, it also picks up that unpleasantry. And so it's important when you're in something unpleasantly is to change that to something pleasant. And if it's unpleasant, that's something you're going to get rid of anyway. Tell it to hit the road and think about the opposite. And you all know what the opposite is. That's the knowing. See, there's the pituitary, the pineal gland come in there because you know what the opposite is. You have one thing, but there's always an opposite with it, and the body knows that, and the mind knows that, and so it's important to clear out that it's your. Is that clear?
Yes, that's very helpful.
Yeah.
Casey.
Yes, it makes sense.
We also have Chris here that just came in. I don't know, Chris, if we've had you come to any of our classes before. Welcome. Can you see
No,
us?
I haven't. Yeah, I'm just walking to get to a place where I could turn video on. But yeah, I worked with Alexandra Nickel at Miraval, and she had suggested seeing David and learning about this. So I wanted to start joining in.
Yeah, I talked to you the other week, didn't I?
You did, correct.
Okay.
Well, welcome.
I'll
We're
be
glad
on
to have
video
you.
shortly. Thank
Oh.
you.
Well, you're welcome to stay and learn more about yourself.
Thanks so much.
And if you have any questions right now, if anything pop up, shoot out and let us know what they are.
We
Okay.
end up, a lot of us have been directed to Reverend David through Reverend Alexandra. So you'll find that everyone says, oh, well, Reverend Alexandra sent me over. It's like, she sent me over too.
That's
how,
great. Yeah.
yeah, that's how I ended up being here as well. So, and Casey, yeah.
And me too.
Yeah.
I'm very, very grateful to her for sending me over.
Wow. You know what, Lady J, for some reason, I wasn't thinking that's how you ended up
Yeah.
for some reason, but wow, see how interesting. We're all here with, she's wonderful.
Yeah.
So yeah, it would, off of what Reverend David said, you know, about the body representation and whatnot, you know, the yeses and the nos, or the right and the wrong, you know, once we have our knowing in there about what he was saying about the corn, knowing that corn is going to grow in our own self, in our own being, knowing that something is going to be created because we had it in our mind to create, you know, and there is no yes or no, it's just is. And so when is something going on your screen?
I see a little blue light there. I don't know what that is.
I can see that. Oh, it's just the mouse. There we go.
Oh, okay.
The mouse is showing his, okay. But anyway, you know, that knowing, you know, everyone talks about knowing a lot nowadays. It's like one of those, you know, understandings now that knowing is very powerful. And in our being, whatever we're processing and creating that comes through our thoughts, words, actions. Now we're knowing it. It's very powerful instead of, is it like this? Or, we've been taught to question everything, that we're not of the most powerful beings that we are. So when we act accordingly and be in our knowing, it really makes us very, we take back our power in healing and being.
And another thing that knowing helps us is being confident and secure when people question yourself on what's going on and everything like this, because you know what works and everything, and it's important to be able to be confident with your responses to people and everything, and I found that when people say they have all these things that contribute to ill health and everything like this, and if they concentrate on that makes it stronger. And so we stay away from that. When this disease come under, I would not pronounce that name. And I just started pronouncing it this last year, and I said, what am I doing? And everything. And so and the thing here, people look at me strange when I tell them that, but I don't care if you look at me strange and everything. I'm healthy and everything. And so the thing here is that know that your mind is in command, and you have all the faculties to continue to be healed. You are a healer, and you have the ability to heal. And actually, when you are sending healing out, what you do is that you send the healing energy of the all-knowing and send it to that person's root of what they're going through, so that person can start healing the person. You don't do the healing. Healing is done by themselves, and there's people that I've known that have. We have a healing box here at the chapel, and we started that by there was a person coming to the chapel that was from Indiana, and they had a person going to be operated on for throat cancer, and so let's put it on put her on a healing list and everything. And when they went to operate on her, they couldn't find the cancer, so. Is that we're going to keep this going and everything, and that was 50-some years ago we did that and everything, and so we've been doing it ever since. Anybody calls me and says, "Well, you're in the healing box," and they get healed, and so
It works. I'm witness to that.
Yeah, it does. It really
Oh, yeah.
thank you.
Right.
I don't need to say any more.
Yeah. It's
No, my breast tumors went away, and they're still away.
yeah.
And
It's
that's that healing box. I want to hear you say it again, though. So when we're sending what we call healing energy, what we're really doing is sending energy for them to heal themselves.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And that's the beauty of Reiki, is that you don't direct it, you don't do anything, you just send the energy. And
Right.
it's interesting because there's so many different types of healing, modalities or whatnot, but they all have the same concept. As long as we're not saying or thinking that we are the one, that we are working with the energy field, like Qigong does it, we're working with the energy field and we're letting them get themselves healed. We're in the support of the energy of intention,
I've had so many different experiences of what Angie's just saying and everything like this. I spent a few months in New York. I thought I was going to go back there, and I got back there real quick. And I went to a spiritualist church in south of Syracuse and everything. And I saw this person was in the hospital, they had a heart attack and everything. And so I just went and visited him and I touched him, just lightly and everything like this. And he recovered and come back. And when he come back to church, he says, you know, when you come by and touched me, the pain in my heart went away and it hasn't come back yet. And I didn't, and I did the same principle that I was talking about, send the healing energy to that person so that they can start healing. I've had quite a few different experiences like this, you know, and it makes me feel good to be able to do that and not take credit for it.
Yeah,
Because I don't want to take credit for anybody. I want them to take credit for themselves.
yeah. That's really interesting too, because when, you know, someone will, like when we're giving readings to them, it's the same kind of concept where they say, well, when you told me this, and we're like, I wasn't really the one doing it, but my mouth was talking. It's like, I don't really recall what you're talking about. However, anyway, you know, and then we, you know, I'll just, you know, let them know that we could go into another session because I wouldn't be able to answer what they're talking about. You know, because that's that power of the energy, you know, being created for them. All these things, Reverend David and I were just talking in the vehicle this morning, and we were talking about how knowing, you know, anything that whenever we're teaching, like, you know, showing, teaching, giving this information to all of you, it's what the person receives. You know how questions are asked a lot, and, you know, that's acceptable, of course. However, it's, you know, sometimes you'll hear us always be kind of vague about how we respond because we're helping the activation of the self to be able to understand what they're receiving, because each person is going to be different, or each, you know, individual soul, you know, spirit is learning or being or feeling or knowing. So everything is going to be possibly different for each one and what they receive.
And you know, there's always more than one view or one angle to look at.
Yeah.
And each one of us have a certain angle to go through. And what I found helpful is to find that angle and put that into your life as being health.
Mhm.
So you're going to get something that will tell you not to do it, but when everybody's telling you to do it, you know. I have a little way of sort of ciphering what psychics tell me, you know. They come and say, you need healing and you need to have celery. Well,
Oh, celery, yeah.
I know that person doesn't know what they're talking about because I'm allergic to celery.
Oh,
So they're over there telling him he needs it. Well, what's probably going on with them is they see celery, but they're not asking more questions to the, you know, spirit. Like, what's this celery for? You know, remove it, eliminate it, you know, or whatever. So they're just saying, hey, you need celery, you know. Yeah,
I think that's one of the biggest problems we have is we get a visual symbol of something and then the interpretation can be way off. And when I work with my clients, I always ask them, does that make sense to you? Or do you understand? How does that fit or whatever? Because sometimes I'm way off.
yeah. We often find that we're good that way when it comes to the human being trying to interpret something on our own and not asking universe, spirit, to help us understand what they're trying to relay. You know, what is this in front of me for? You know, go deeper in finding out, you know, like really, okay, if you're still not receiving what you're needing, go deeper, keep asking until you get a true representation of what you're doing. And when we're talking about spirit world, really have a balance of we're in charge. We're always in charge first. And that they're our support system. They are not the ones in charge of us. And so, it's like same thing, kind of like tarot cards, don't get so addicted to the tarot that you're not in the action of living and being, and, we're having to, work out our life through a card, like, yes, we can foresee things and it help us, but not get so addicted is what I'm kind of getting. Yeah.
I have a question.
Sure.
So, of course, with psychics and speaking with them, and, like you were saying, Reverend David, about celery, and, they just misinterpreted, they saw it, but what the right way to say is, what is this with celery? And you would say, oh, I'm allergic, that's why they saw it. But I guess my question really kind of goes along, is the future set, or can it be changed? So if a psychic says in 3 months I see this and this, and this is somebody like I really truly trust, can we manifest and change these things?
What's your answer to it? I'm just curious, like what you would think.
Yeah, my feeling is that it's like you said, like tarot cards. It's a guidance system to help us get to, a better place. But I feel in my heart of hearts that these are tools to help guide us to the right places. But at the end of the day, they are malleable. These aren't finite, stuck paths that in 3 months you're going to lose your job, or 3 months you're going to get married, or I feel like it's a possible openings, but they don't always have to manifest.
That's right. We're the spirit, what am I trying to say here? Blah, blah, blah. We are the people living, and so we have choice. If we have information, then we can make our choice of which way we're going to go in this. We have a little piece of something that says that might be showing up, and you have that true feeling of, yeah, I know what you're talking about, because we all do, right? We're like, oh yeah, I know that's there. I feel that energy. We do have a way of recreating ourselves, we have, and that's why, some people that have come into the earth plane again and were alcoholics in the past became alcoholics again this lifetime, because it was so easy and they liked it. They had a choice to change it. They came here to change it, but they repeated the pattern again and stuck through it their whole life. Now it's going to be like talked about, right? Like, okay, so why did we do this to ourselves? Well, I felt like it. I just felt like it. I wanted it. Wow, that's a whole lifetime of just, there's those things too. So we can change for the positive, or whatever we want to call it, our teeter-totter.
Well, one of the experiences I have with using my psychic ability is that we had a family here back in the 70s that were going through apply for Social Security with disability, and they refused them. I says, don't pay any attention to that, just reapply again, because the way Social Security works, if you the first time, they figure in 2 years you're going to die. So they're going to put them on, and then at the end of 2 years, I said, now reapply, and I got a date, and I usually don't give out dates too much, but I gave the date out, and they looked at it, and the date come by, and it didn't happen, and 2 days later they got something in the mail with a date on it.
And it was on that date.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
I was like waiting for it. I'm like, was it the date? There's been so many times that Reverend David has, said by this time, like he's really, been the premonition, seeing it. And they all, so many things come into fruition. It's like, yeah, I know what and you really do feel that energy that you're in that space of it, like it's coming, or it's, it's all linear or whatever, but you're feeling the energy of that, it's like, aha, we're there.
Well, my favorite story about getting the psychic messages is, I had this woman come in there, and she left, and she wasn't very happy at all, and she said, "You don't know what you're talking about," and 2 months later, she came back to the chapel and says, "I gotta apologize to you, because Reverend David, the last time I come for a reading, I told him he didn't know what he was talking about. And he told me that we're gonna go to the Midwest, and my husband was gonna get a job." So, well, I'm leaving for Indiana on Monday because my husband got another job.
That's cool.
It is
I
pretty,
love it.
And what that does to you, that gives you confidence
yeah.
in what you're doing.
Mhm, mhm.
Yeah, it refers back to when your ex-wife was saying, some horrible things to you, and
Oh,
then
yeah.
telling you that you were not what you were.
Yeah,
and then
fraud,
and then David goes off to what town?
New York.
He went to New York, and he had Rama Ramu in the circle, running the circle, and then he was able to say everyone's name, every single person's name, without knowing who they were, and he's just like, yeah, I'm a what? Thank you, Rama Ramu, right? It's like, wow, to be able to be in the presence with Rama Ramu and feeling that,
Yeah.
because he's supporting you and you supporting him.
Mhm.
Yeah, the Rama Ramu, and then is it Dr. Beck?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's so beautiful when you channel them, and I noticed with Dr. Beck that your voice will change a little bit with a little bit of an Irish or Scottish. I can't tell, but your voice changes, almost like an English accent comes through when you speak through Dr. Beck.
Yeah,
But
that's
I
true.
don't know if that's just channeling. That's
That's
fascinating.
that's
Yeah.
the spirit, when I'm channeling the Yellow Emperor. He's they have different ways of saying his name, but how he comes through for me is Quack T, but it's like Hung, Huangdi, totally different, but he'll do the whole Asian bit. Like that's just strange to me. If I ever watch it, I watched it once. It was like a recording because I needed to get on to something for it, I guess recorded for people to send it off. And I watched a little bit of it. That was it's just strange. It's really
Yeah.
strange to watch yourself and your face, like, does some weird thing. And yeah, it's neat.
Yeah,
Really neat.
it is very cool. Yeah, like with the Rama Ramu, you took your glasses off when you did a reading with me. And
Yeah.
then Reverend David is like, I don't like, it's almost like I don't need these,
Yeah.
like, and you spoke with me through him, and it was really beautiful and great, and I appreciate that. But I just wanted to mention how fascinating.
I got your message there, Lady J. Thank you. Yeah. I wanted to say, David, when we talk about the coccyx, the pineal, and the pituitary, when we're doing a practice of like meditation and whatnot, or we're working with our ancient masters, things like that. Can you talk about why you suggest people to focus on those 3 areas in specific,
Well,
being that we're talking about healing?
basically, the two of them, the pineal and the pituitary gland, I've already talked a little bit about it. It's the pituitary gland is imagination, and pineal is knowing, and the coccyx is the gateway to your soul. In all your lifetimes, you go through that channel to go into your lifetime. Every time you go into a lifetime, you're going through the coccyx to get that, because that's where all your lifetimes are stored.
Mm-hmm.
And some people call it, what do they call that? What is it? It's where you go, you get the Akashic records.
Yes.
That's where the Akashic records are.
Yep.
all your lifetimes are in that Akashic record.
Yeah.
And so when you wanna go into your Akashic record, send energy through the pituitary, knowing, and the coccyx, and you move right into right into, immediately you'll be into the knowing of that.
The interesting part is, I practice this Qigong thing, right? And they talk about, it's a totally different word, but it's the same thing. It's like, wow, I love that when I learned this through, Reverend David, and then I started doing this development because of my ancient master, and then hearing about these certain locations, I'm like, wow, of course. It's
Very
really
cool.
It is really cool. And when we do that work with that, I think of what Reverend David, how he directs us in the meditation. Oops, we didn't, it's spam. Of course it would be. Yeah, it's very interesting. All right, let's see where we are on, oh, we are ready for our meditation on this. Wow, moving right along. Okay, so let's just get comfortable. And then we'll self-realize what we talked about here today. Thank you, Reverend David, for that. It's all really good stuff. All right. Let us concentrate on our breath. As this breath moves through the nostrils, it relaxes each muscle, nerve, and vessel in our being. This breath is what sustains you. It is the breath of life. Feel the relaxation that this breath brings to your being. As this relaxation moves gently in and around each part of your being, it turns into something very beautiful called love. You recognize this love as being alive and active with each breath. Just relax and recognize. As you exhale, you release physical toxins and negative attitudes you have toward yourself and all people concerned. Relax, recognize, and release. As you're releasing the toxins and attitudes, they are being dispersed into the I am. Gently allow this breath to settle into the feet area. This is the understanding part of our being. And as you understand yourself clearly, then you understand the world that you move in. Just relax, recognize, and release. Feel all tension, nervousness, and frustration leave as this breath moves to the ankles and up the legs. Feeling all agitations and irritations being dissolved. Relax, recognize, and release. As this breath moves to the hip area, relax and release that which does not belong to you. The hip represents independent movement. You are now free to move in life and free to be you. Very gently allow this breath to move to the base of the spine and the small of the back. Allow this breath to stay here for a few moments. This breath is what becomes stronger and stronger, for this is the strength area. Strength is confidence, security, and firmness. Now allow the breath to move up the spine. As this breath touches all vertebrae, muscles, nerves, you feel enlightened, giving up the burdens that do not belong to you and taking care of what does belong to you. As this breath moves up the spine, feel confident, secure, and firm. Relax, recognize, and release that which does not belong to you. As this breath touches the shoulders, feel all tension, nervousness, and frustration leaving. The shoulders represent responsibility in life, and know with each breath that you are doing your responsibility in life with freedom and ease. You also allow all other people to do their responsibilities with the same freedom and ease. Allowing this breath now to move down the arms, relaxing, recognizing, and releasing, reaching the hands. The hands are the giving and receiving part of our being. We give to receive and receive to give. As this breath is in the hands area, feel the breath that is between your hands and how good this breath feels. This goodness is you, and you are extremely good. Take this goodness that is you and place it in the lower abdomen area. The greatest gift of all lies here, life. You are full of life, and life is full of you. Life is happiness, health, and wealth. You eliminate all that hinders you from life, and you put order into your life. Order is the adjusting of all mind powers, moving in harmonious manner for life. Very gently now, allowing the breath to move to the stomach area. The stomach is the judgment area. Let us fully and freely release all mistakes in judgment that we have made that have led to mistake in action. Replace with correct judgments that lead to correct action. Relax, recognize, and release. Feel all tension, nervousness, and frustration leaving, allowing this breath to move to the heart area. The heart is the love area of our being. With each beat of the heart, love moves to each part of our body. We radiate that love, and wherever we go, this radiance is felt, and the universe gives back to you that radiance. Relaxing, recognizing, and releasing that which does not belong to you. Very gently allowing this breath to move to the throat area. The throat is the power area in our life. You are in command of your life, and you are at ease with that command. Relax, recognize, and release that which does not belong to you. Very gently allowing this breath to move to the back of the head, to the very crown of your head. From the tips of your toes to the crown of your head, you are relaxing, recognizing, and releasing. As you're in this relaxed state, think or feel or see yourself walking down a path. You feel the path beneath your feet. You notice the green grass that lines this path. You notice the sun twinkling through the trees that also line this path. As you walk down the path, there's a gentle breeze that touches your body. This is the breath of life. It allows you to take the next step in knowing yourself. As you walk down the path, there's a clearing in front of you. As you walk into the clearing, the softness of the grass touches your feet. Knowing that you are very protected, you walk into the clearing. There's a body of water that is crystal clear and warm to your touch. There are paths that lead away from the clearing. As you walk through the body of water, if you choose to go into the water, completely submerging in the water, breathing freely and all organs functioning properly, know that you are very protected. If you choose to lay beside the water, absorbing the four elements, the sun, water, air, and earth, or you may choose to explore the paths, feel free to do so and enjoy. Remembering all that you've seen, sensed, felt, or heard, and feeling very refreshed, alert, and keen. You notice your healing clarity from your healing circle. You notice that every one of us surround that healing circle. And you notice that your healing breath starts to expand to touch each and every one. We become one healing breath. One healing breath. We direct this healing breath to the healing box, and for all the souls that have made and transitioned, all the institutes of health that state that peace is the journey and destination, all those affected by the winds, the rains, the snows, the movement of the earth, and the fires, that they are all protected and healed. As you're aware of your healing presence, and as you move towards your path, you notice anything changed, moved, or taken away. And when you're on your path, your mental and physical consciousness becomes aware, remembering all that you've seen, felt, and heard, feeling very refreshed, alert, and keen. And when your mental and physical consciousness is fully aware, open your eyes. Welcome back. So Lady J, being that, oh wait, Chris just dropped off, but he's jumping right back in. Lady J, you were saying that you needed to jump off at 11. Why don't you go ahead and start first, how you self-realized?
Yes, and I apologize. The realtor's saying I got to get out of here.
Oh,
So what happened was it was hard for me to get, I don't know why, but I ended up by this tree with moss on it in a little creek, which is kind of my happy place to go. And I'm not quite sure how I got there, just all of a sudden I was there. And what passed through my mind was, when I'm doing past life regressions with people, maybe having them concentrate on their coccyx would help to bring forth more information, I guess is what I'm saying. Because I did not realize the Akashic record was tied to the coccyx. That's a new piece of information for me, and I'm excited about it.
yeah, very powerful spot.
Hi, Chris. It's nice to see your face.
Yeah,
You too.
I was like, wait, Chris is there? He's there? What's going on? And then you bumped off. I said, oh, I gotta add him in.
I love
Yeah, I
it.
guess my camera didn't work, so when I reset it, it kicked me off.
I love it. Well, I apologize, but I have to leave. I'll see you all next week. Have a great week.
Thank
Bye,
you.
Lady J. God bless.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, Casey, how did you do?
So I went into the water first, and then I was just kind of mucky, and I couldn't get clarity there. And I was forcing myself to try to get clarity there, and I realized, don't just leave the water. Like you're controlling it too much.
Yeah,
And so I got out, and I started just to kind of just enjoy nature around me. And I always see the same thing. I told you guys, there's mountains behind me, and it's like I'm in a valley, and there's a beautiful pool of water there, like a lake. And then so I was like hunting to find, because when I spoke to Ramu Remy, he was saying that there is ancient master, a woman who's going to find me or come to me. So I was like on a Easter egg hunt trying to find her. And it was frustrating because I was forcing myself like a control freak. And finally, I just said, stop it. Just stop trying to find this person. And I stopped. She came.
because you
And
were
I
trying to
did,
find her and she was gonna find you.
yes. And I basically, what I did is I just let go of control, and she came to me, and it was all I saw with her was just a feminine energy that was very beautiful, and waves of white and silver just kind of just flowing through my eyes, not like a perfect vision. And I kept getting the name Helen, like Helen, And so I kept asking her, I said, what is your name? She's like, we're just greeting right now. She's like, you don't need to know. I said, but I keep getting Helene. She's like, well, technically it's Saint Helena. And I'm like, I've never heard of that name. I said, that's cool. And so basically it was really beautiful. The time I had with her, she's like, I'll keep coming to you every time you meditate. And I'm going to teach you new things. And I love you so much. And then my eyes just sort of literally just tears. I felt that love so strong. And then she's like, okay, we'll meet again on your next meditation. So I'm happy to continue meeting her. That's mine.
Wow, that was powerful. He's found him, found her. She's found him. She got him to stop
Yeah.
trying to find me. Right.
Exactly. Stop, let life happen, and let me.
When you get that, when the ancient master, or when we're ready for our ancient master, that it's just a beautiful presence. It's so amazing. And then all the energy changes around us and it's really, like, I've done so many different things because of it, like my diet, everything. It's phenomenal. And they've been with us forever, you know?
Yeah, I felt like she was like my internal, I guess, forever mother.
Yeah. And I
Forever
found,
mother, always.
by doing mine, I found that I helped him in his life, his very powerful, that last life, that we're talking about, that he titles himself as, because that's how I could relay it, or I could remember it, that kind of thing, or others can. Very interesting. Thank
Very
you. So Chris, could you tell us how you did on your meditation and your self-realizing from what we talked?
Yeah, it was pretty basic for me. I was just trying to put the mental image in my head. I was trying to get in water and just kind of see it in my head, and also try and see if I could get my mind to feel it, what it would be like there. So it was very vague and fleeting, trying to, maybe trying is the wrong word, but to get that visual to be strong and to feel it.
Yeah. First time around, it's just a matter of like what Casey was saying about forcing self to do something, like we're just mechanically being the human, and we're placing ourselves into the water. And then once, the self-realizing, becomes easier and easier. And all of a sudden you're just laying in that pool of water, just healing, and there's just all these different things that occur through that. So welcome.
And are there ways to listen to that again? Like I don't know how the recordings work, but to listen it in your own time?
Yep. We're gonna, we actually have a recording that's actually on David's computer right now that we had from last week, but we usually have them regulated on our YouTube channel at United Fellowship.
Okay.
Yeah, it's called United Fellowship Chapel, and it has a angel picture on it, like a emblem of the angel that we have. So
Cool.
there's years of it. So we repeat the same information every year, but things change in our communication. So, or people, the energy of whoever's there at the time, things change with that too. So you'll be able to watch from way back. Yeah.
Got it.
Okay. Reverend David, how did you do?
It was I'm moving through some changes, and just they keep on telling me be confident and secure,
Yeah.
and so I live up to that.
No matter,
I feel it.
good, very, very good. No matter where we are in life, no matter even if we're, putting the teachings out there, we're still human. We still have the same experiences as everyone else. In fact, a lot like most people, because whatever the energy is, we're doing the same thing. So very interesting how it all works out. Yep. We hadn't gone over the laying on of hands and things, have we? Casey, do you remember us, going over, healing? Like actually doing hands-on healing, talking about that?
Not yet, no.
So David, next week, you we
Yeah.
wanna go over that?
Sure.
So we'll actually show you, Reverend David and myself, and possibly, someone else may be here for that, and we can show you the different types of healing and talk about that. So that's what we'll be doing next week.
Okay.
Okay. All right, so we'll do our gratitude prayer, and we thank you for coming, and Chris, welcome. All right, until next week. Mother, Father God, we give gratitude and thank yous for this day. We ask for your infinite light of protection to be with us and through us as we go on our path. So when we meet those on our passage, we share the love that is so abundant, and we give thanks for this day. Thank you. Amen.
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 All right, everyone. We'll see you next week, same time.
Thanks, everybody.
And Reverend David, I did something online to book you because I didn't know if I'd make it to this to just